Hello, I'm TUjourd AN. Welcome to the Insightful Journey channel. Today, we will together find the answer to an age-old question. Why are we afraid and struggle to accept big changes in life, even though we know clearly that everything will pass? We will find the formula to dismantle this pain. Have you ever experienced this feeling? Having to move to a farther workplace, taking on a new position with no experience, or even the terrible emptiness after a breakup. It feels like the whole world is collapsing. In that moment, everything is bad. The psychological pressure is heavy, making us only want to return to the old, the familiar. But then, after a few months or a few years looking back, you might exclaim, "Oh, this was not something to worry about at all." Sometimes change opens up a new opportunity that I wish had happened sooner. Why is there this puzzling paradox? From a psychological perspective, this difficulty in acceptance is called the status quo bias. Our brain is programmed to save energy, to choose the path with the least risk. When everything is stable, it signals, safe. Change means uncertainty, and uncertainty is always considered a threat by the brain. It's not that you're weak, it's your survival instinct at work. However, from a philosophical and Buddhist perspective, the deeper root lies in clinging, also known as tanha. We cling to feelings, to relationships, to positions, to familiarity. Clinging is when we try to hold on to something that cannot be grasped. The Buddha taught, all things and phenomena are impermanent, anicca. Everything is constantly changing and moving. The pain when facing change is actually not the pain of losing something, but the pain when we do not accept the impermanence that is happening. Let me tell you the story of a young woman named Mai. She had just ended a 5-year relationship. Even though the person had left, Mai still held on to a terrible regret, an emptiness that could not be filled. She didn't remember the details of the good things. She only remembered the feeling of lost safety, the broken habit of being together. Waking up every morning, a vast emptiness, a chilling absence. Mai's pain was not from losing her lover, but from losing the future that had been programmed with that person. She was clinging to her life script, not the person himself. And the close friend told Mai, with a truly understanding and sympathetic tone, "Mai, that person may be gone, but your love and value remain intact. That relationship was a book you finished reading. Now is the time for you to write the next chapter of your life, a brighter chapter, just for yourself." If Mai's pain was clinging to emotion and a future script, the next story is about clinging to material possessions and things we can see and touch. Let me tell you the story of an old carpenter who lost his workshop in a fire. At first he was nearly devastated. All the efforts of my life, he clung tightly to the image of the old workshop. But then his son said, "Dad, the old workshop was where you worked, but it is not your talent. Your talent is still here. This is a chance to build a new, more modern workshop. You can do greater things later." Just that one sentence made him wake up. The pain is the shell, and the change is the kernel inside. So how can we dismantle this pain in the simplest way? TUjourd AN would like to share 2 practical solutions that anyone can implement. Solution 1. Practice mindfulness and accept impermanence. When pain strikes, instead of resisting or running away, apply the simple Buddhist philosophy. Contemplate the feeling. Step 1. Identify and name. When you feel suffering, say softly, "Ah." This is the feeling of loss appearing. This is the feeling of fear of uncertainty. Naming it helps you detach from the emotion. You are the observer, not the victim of that emotion. Step 2. Acceptance. Inhale deeply and exhale. Say, I accept that this is happening, and I accept that it will change. As the psychotherapist Carl Rogers once said, the curious paradox is that when I accept myself as I am, then I can change. Acceptance is the key to let go of resistance. Solution 2. Reframing. Seeking the hidden benefit. This is the core technique of positive psychology. When change causes you pain, ask yourself these 3 questions. What has this change forced me to learn? For example, learning self-reliance, acquiring a new skill, learning to set boundaries. What did I gain that I would never have had if everything stayed the same? For example, more time for myself, a chance to find a better person, an opportunity to pursue a forgotten passion. When I look back in 5 years, what will I be grateful for that happened today? Today's difficulty is the raw material to create a better version of you in the future. Change is initially a psychological pressure, but pressure in physics is what creates diamonds from coal. Remember the famous quote by Heraclitus, "No man ever steps in the same river twice." Life is a flow, and you are invited to swim with that flow, not to try to block it. Change is not the enemy. It is the most demanding teacher, teaching us about flexibility and inner strength. Stop clinging to the past. Pain is the shell. When you overcome it, you will find the unexpected opportunity and lasting peace hidden within. Be brave and step through the new door, because the brightest version of you is waiting on the other side. What do you think about this story? What lesson resonated with you the most? Leave a comment to share your thoughts. If this information and knowledge is useful to you, please like and subscribe to the channel to unleash your inner power with TUහැ AN.